Comet in Moominland is a children's novel by the Finnish author Tove Jansson, first published in 1946 by the title of Cometjakten. It is a story where foreboding events cause Moomintroll and his friend Sniff leave home to visit an observatory, only to race the approaching comet back home. I like this story. In this analysis I have broken down the story into sequences with key influences, key story arc pieces, major plot points, and dramatic questions. The nature of the Moomin family is in the center of the story. Inquisitive nature combined with pragmatic personalities make the Moomins unique. The Moomins live in a picturesque valley, away from harm and worries. Their son, Moomintroll, enjoys a simple life. He is the main character of this story. Facing no challenges in everyday life, his heroic spirit has not yet awakened. Sniff is Moomintroll's greedy and scaredy friend. He mostly exists as a foil to bring Moomintroll's good characteristics into light. Occasionally he steps up to be proactive, but lacks the potential for true heroism. The story begins with Sniff finding a forest path, which he is too scared to explore on his own. Claiming to have found his very own path, he asks Moomintroll to join him in exploring it. Moomintroll asks his mom for lunch to take on the adventure, and they head off. At the threshold of adventure, Sniff shows his scaredy nature again, needing his friend to be brave and take the lead. Moomintroll does not shy away from the path Sniff describes as dangerous. On the other side of the forest they find a beach, and Moomintroll dives for pearls while Sniff looks around. Sniff finds a cave and tries to make friends with a kitten. Life is peaceful in the home valley. Adventuring is a pastime for the two boys. Moomintroll's mother, Moomin Mamma, makes sandwiches for the boys. Everyday life does not offer true challenges. When the status quo is broken, the adventures become more than pastime. Moomintroll and Sniff will have to face real challenges. It rains in the evening. Moomintroll's father, Moomin Pappa, hears whining outside and invites the soaking wet muskrat in. The muskrat is a self-proclaimed philosopher who speaks of odd sensations in the air, foreshadowing the gloom to come. The next day is cloudy and grey. Moomintroll asks the muskrat why everything is grey. The muskrat urges Moomintroll to go and play while he still can. There is nothing to do about this. About what? Moomintroll wants to know. The end of the world, says the muskrat. Moomin Pappa thinks the air smells phosphorus. At morning coffee table, the muskrat builds a miniature universe on the porch table. He tells how vast and black the universe is. The muskrat thinks it does not make a difference if Earth is destroyed or not. The inciting incident of this story is not a clear single moment or event, but it is Muskrat's talk of the coming apocalypse that sets off the story. The ravings do not function as a clear call to action, but what is important is how the characters react to them. Frightened by the muskrat's words, the children become passive, which alarms Moomin Mamma. She thinks it would do them good to leave the house. She wants to send them out into the world, to the observatory. This showcases the Moomin's quirky nature. Rather than sending her husband to get the information about stars, Moomin Mamma wants to send the children, thinking it is better for them. Thus, the story goal forms. Moomintroll is to go to the observatory and return home with knowledge about the emptiness of space and about stars. He embraces the quest, thinking he is doing a favor for his parents. Snufkin is the mentor character for Moomintroll and Sniff. An experienced adventurer and an ascetic personality, he finds pleasure in the simple things. Snufkin is capable, but usually not the first to act. His primary function is to guide the children on their journey. With supplies provided by Moomin Mamma and advice from Moomin Papa, the children start their journey on a raft towards the mountains where the observatory is. Without realizing, they've entered the unknown world where many difficulties await them. The journey starts without any hindrance, and Sniff is soon bored because nothing happens. They hear a harmonica and spot a tent on the riverbank. Snufkin steps outside and asks if they have coffee. This is how Moomin Troll and Sniff meet their mentor, who will prove to be an invaluable asset on the adventure. The children know nothing of the world outside their home valley, but Snufkin is an experienced traveler. Learning about their objective, Snufkin speaks of the comet, saying how no one can be sure about them. The boys want to hear more, and Snufkin tells that the Earth will shatter if the comet collides with it. The scientists at the observatory will be able to tell when the comet arrives. Now, the story goal is redefined. The children are to retrieve information about the comet and its arrival and return home in time. The approaching comet creates a ticking clock, a time limit for their task, which is yet to be defined. Snufkin takes Moomin Troll and Sniff to a gem ravine to look at the precious stones. Sniff is unable to resist the temptation of his greed and risks his health climbing down to collect the gems. A giant salamander appears to interrupt Sniff and force him to hurry back up. In panic, Sniff drops all the stones he had collected. Snufkin offers words of advice and consolation, saying how things turn difficult when you want to own objects and hold them as your own. He prefers to only look at pretty things and store them in his mind. Sniff is greedy by nature and unable to heed Snufkin's advice, which will cause them more trouble before the adventure is over. Now Moomin Troll and Sniff have learned that things are different outside of their home valley. The unfamiliar world is full of obstacles and dangers. Luckily, they have Snufkin as their guide. Snufkin joins Moomin Troll and Sniff on their raft. As the river plunges under the mountain and the raft jams between the cave walls, another obstacle presents itself. Sniff is a coward and unable to act. He panics in the dark, and Snufkin tries comforting him by playing his harmonica. A Hemulen hears the harmonica music coming from a crack in the ground and lifts the group up with his butterfly net just in time before the raft plummets into the abyss. The coffee pot is lost with the raft. The group has made it to the mountains, and the journey up to the highest peak begins. In the evening, Snufkin tells about the Snorks he met earlier. Moomin Troll pretends not to be intrigued by the mention of Snork Maiden. This is a setup for Moomin Troll's secondary objective, the rescue of Snork Maiden. Snufkin knows they are approaching the highest peak from the cigarette butts lying on the ground. For safety reasons, the three companions walk with a rope tied between them. At the start of the day's journey, Sniff is already complaining. The obstacles continue with the appearance of a great condor bird. To escape it, they hug the mountain wall and press into a niche it cannot reach. The condor goes after them, but soon gives up and leaves. Snufkin says that the bird is ashamed for having failed and will not come after them anymore, again showcasing his knowledge of the world. Sniff complains, saying he's fed up with the whole journey and its perils. Moomin Troll notices something shiny by the edge of the chasm. With help from the others, he manages to reach out and pick up the golden bangle. Snufkin saw one on Snork Maiden's ankle earlier, and deduces that she must have fallen. The sky is red over the clouds. the comet approaches. Moomintroll, Sniff and Snufkin arrive at the observatory. Moomintroll goes inside to ask about the comet. He walks up to a scientist, but the man takes him for Snog Maiden, who has showed up again to badger him about her golden bangle. Confused by the mention of Snog Maiden, Moomintroll forgets to make any inquiries about the comet. He goes outside to tell the others that Snog Maiden has not fallen off the mountain after all. Sniff takes his turn to go inside the observatory and talk to a professor. He gets to look at the sky through the telescope and sees the comet. The professor tells the exact time of the coming impact, August 3rd at 8:42 p.m. What happens after the comet hits the Earth, he cannot say. The comet will come in 4 days. Moomintroll wants to hurry back down, not because he is worried about the comet or his parents, but because he wants to find Snog Maiden and return her bangle. This is the midpoint of the story. Now the adventurers know the nature of the approaching danger and the exact moment of doom. They must return home before the comet hits. Thus, the story goal is once more redefined. Return home before the comet hits the Earth. A secondary, personal goal forms for Moomintroll. Find Snog Maiden and give her the golden bangle. 2 dramatic questions are defined. The first dramatic question is, will Moomintroll make it home before the comet hits? At the start of the journey, Moomintroll set out to retrieve information about the ominous events. Now he has to get information back home to his parents. The second dramatic question is, will Moomintroll save his friends and family? Their journey is full of obstacles and the comet poses its own threat. Moomintroll is not facing dangers alone, but will have to bring out the hero in him to save those close to him. It is worth noting that stopping the comet is not the goal. Such dramatic question as, will Moomintroll be able to prevent the comet from hitting the Earth, does not exist. If the story was in another genre, the dramatic questions could be different. The journey back home begins. At the start of their descent, Sniff suddenly feels ill and they have to take a break. Moomintroll and Snufkin spend time rolling rocks down the mountain, waiting for Sniff to feel better. Moomintroll slips and falls with a rock, pulling the others who are tied to him. Scared Sniff is unable to do anything to help, but tangles the rope between rocks by accident and saves them all. Snufkin wants to take the direct, shortest road to Moomin Valley. The approaching comet makes their compass unusable, preventing navigation. They have to travel on instinct. Soon they are running low on food and juice. The return journey is proving to be difficult and the clock is ticking. A dried up lake is another sign of the approaching comet's influence. Someone is shouting for help. The cries awaken the hero in Moomintroll. He dashes towards the voice, pulling with him Sniff and Snufkin as they are still tied together. A dangerous Angostura plant has caught Snog Maiden by her tail and is pulling her in to devour her. Her brother, Snog, can only cry for help. Snufkin, the mentor character, hands his pocket knife to Moomintroll and gives advice on how to deal with the dangerous plant. Moomintroll offends the plant, calling it by ugly names. It lets go of Snog Maiden only to grab Moomintroll instead. He battles the plant by cutting off its arms. Snog Maiden tries to help by throwing a rock at the plant, but hits her savior instead. The battle ends with Moomintroll cutting off all the plant's arms and Snog Maiden offering praises to her rescuer. Then Moomintroll returns her golden bangle she had lost. Thus, Moomintroll has risen to the role of a hero with the aid of his mentor Snufkin, who gave him the pocket knife to cut the arms off the plant and offered the crucial advice on how to deal with the plant. But even though Moomintroll has saved Snog Maiden from the immediate danger and returned her lost possession, the comet still approaches. Snog Maiden's brother, is pleased to hear the others are also interested in the comet and wants to have a meeting to discuss the matter. Snog Maiden is a somewhat vain and unproductive but not completely helpless girl. She is Moomintroll's romantic interest and inspiration for heroic deeds. She assumes the role of a caretaker in the group. Snog starts the meeting by naming himself the chairman. He wants to put together the information they have collected about the comet. Moomintroll admires Snog Maiden's hair and does not listen to her brother. Snog gets frustrated when no one is listening, and Snufkin has to order everyone to concentrate. Moomintroll suggests the Snogs come with them to his home in Moomin Valley. Sniff tells of the cave he found. No one else is able to put the pieces together, but Snog Maiden suggests they find refuge in Sniff's cave. She also promises to take care of their food problem. Now their objective is more precise. They must reach Moomin Valley before the comet and seek refuge in the cave. The group sees a sign for a dance stage and a store. The end of the world is in 2 days. Snog Maiden wants to dance. Sniff wants lemonade from the store. Snufkin likes the idea of going to see the stage. Everyone finds something they want in the store, but none of them have any money. The shopkeeper ends up giving them all the items for free. The dance stage is in a small clearing in the woods, filled with wooden critters waiting for the dance to begin. For one whole evening, no one thinks of the approaching comet and the end of the world. After the last song, Snog Maiden is feeling down, thinking they will not find their way to Moomin Valley. Moomintroll encourages her, assuring that his mother will have dinner ready when they come home. On the 5th of August, the birds have stopped singing. The sun is faint. The comet is visible in the sky. A chasm opens where the sea was before. Moomin Valley is on the other side. Moomintroll and his group cannot walk around the depths in 2 days. This obstacle seems too much for them. Snog wants to hold a meeting. Sniff suggests flying across, Moomintroll walking. Snufkin has the idea to cross the dry sea on stilts. Everyone starts gathering things that can be used as stilts, and Snufkin teaches how to use them. Once more, the mentor character steps up when needed. Sniff's cowardly side shows itself again. He feels ill but is instantly better when Snufkin mentions the possibility of treasure lying on the bottom of the sea. The group comes across a shipwreck on the seafloor. Sniff sees a glint, hops off the stilts and picks up a golden dagger. Snog Maiden bends over on her stilts to see what Sniff has picked up. She loses her balance and falls inside the wreck. Moomintroll dashes to save her. There is no easy way out of the wreck's cargo hold. Seaweed has made the wood slimy and slippery. Moomintroll helps Snog Maiden climb up. As he tries to climb up himself, Snog Maiden notices something moving in the shadows. A giant octopus emerges, inching its tentacles towards Moomintroll, who is struggling to climb the slippery wall. Snog Maiden blinds the octopus with the mirror she got from the store. The mirror reflects the red light of the comet, scaring the octopus, forcing it to retreat into the wreck's shadowy depths. Now, Moomintroll has rescued Snog Maiden a second time, and she has had a chance to rescue him. The comet has grown larger in the sky. The day of the impact is tomorrow. Moomintroll and his group meet a resident of Moomin Valley. She tells them that everyone has deserted their homes because the muskrat predicted the comet would hit the valley. Still, Moomin Pappa and Moomin Mamma sit on their porch and wait for Moomintroll to come home. She does not believe Moomintroll can make it home before the impact. Time is running low. More people live in the valley past the group. On the shore of the dry sea, they meet the grumpy Hemulan, who joins them. He is an arduous travel companion, making the journey more difficult and slowing them down. A locust swarm descends on the forest and starts to eat it. Every tree is eaten bare. Snork's interpretation is that the comet is causing such catastrophe. Snufkin's harmonica has been affected by the sea, and he cannot cheer up the group with music. The wind picks up in the evening. Snork interprets this as another catastrophe. Moomintroll has the idea to ride the storm into Moomin Valley. The wind is blowing in the right direction. He wants to use Hemulan's dress as a balloon. Everyone grabs onto it and the storm lifts it up. The group rides the wind. In the last moment, when all seems lost, it is the proactive hero who comes up with the way to turn disaster into aid, not the mentor who has been guiding the hero so far. This is the lowest point of the story, the darkest hour. Time is running out. A catastrophe hits after another. In the moment where everything seems lost, the hero sees an opportunity to turn the obstacle into an aid. Thus, when the group was already running late, the storm that would have hindered the group's journey helps them reach their goal in time. Moomintroll arrives home with his group on the morning of the end of the world. Moomin Mamma is decorating a cake for her son and baking cookies. Snork organizes the move to Sniff's cave. Sniff is worried for the kitten he found before leaving. He finds the cat, but it will not let him close. He begs for it to save itself in the cave with them, but the kitten promises to come at its own convenience. When the move is finished, it's time to eat cake while waiting for the end of the world. Sniff is annoyed because the cake did not have his name on it. Upset, he leaves the cave to look for the kitten. Snufkin is about to go after him, but Moomin Mamma thinks Sniff needs some time alone and will return soon. Upon returning home in time, Moomintroll and the rest of the group have a clear plan for taking on the end of the world. In the Moomin fashion, this includes not only actions to ensure surviving the comet, but eating cake and cookies too. A minor interruption to the plan is the desecration of the cake when the muskrat accidentally sits on it. A major interruption to executing the plan is the kitten, who does not come to the cave even though it promised. This gives Sniff a chance to step up and be proactive. Sniff is so upset and angry that he forgets to be afraid of the approaching comet until he is in the woods. He finds the kitten, but, disoriented by fear, is unsure which way the cave is. He has tried to be the hero, but failed. There are only 17 minutes left before the impact. Moomintroll decides to go looking for Sniff. 11 minutes left. He runs into the woods shouting for his friend. When he finds Sniff, only 6 minutes remain. Moomin Mamma waits for them by the cave's entrance. Once more, Moomintroll has stepped up and saved his friend. Sniff gets to introduce the kitten to the rest of the group. The comet comes. Small meteorites drum the cave's roof. The world is silent. Destruction came, destruction went, Moomin Pappa jests. Moomin Mamma orders everyone to go to sleep and not think or talk about the comet. This is the climax of the story. Sniff gets to be proactive but fails to be the hero. The clock is ticking as Moomintroll has to be the hero one last time, this time alone without aid from his mentor. The comet comes but does not hit the earth and leaves only silence behind. Now the dramatic questions have been answered. The first dramatic question was, will Moomintroll make it back home before the comet hits? The answer is yes. While other people helped along the way, it was Moomintroll who had the idea to fly the storm using Hemulan's dress, when it seemed they would not be able to make it in time. The second dramatic question was, will Moomintroll save his friends and family? The answer is also yes. With the aid of his mentor Snufkin, Moomintroll saved Snog Maiden from the carnivorous plant, and then saved her again in the shipwreck on the bottom of the sea. And without anyone's help, Moomintroll braved the approaching comet to bring Sniff back to the safety of the cave. Moomintroll wakes up before anyone else and crawls out of the cave. Everything looks empty, colorless, and silent. Snufkin comes out after him. He thinks the comet only touched Earth and then went past. Together they witness the sea return. Everyone else comes out to watch the sea. The group decides to go home and make sure everything is as it was, but they are already sure everything will be all right. This is the denouement of the story. With the comet gone and its effects on the world reverting, everything will return back to normal. This concludes my analysis of Comet in Moominland.